Yo! Yo, yo, yo! Good morning. What's up? We have London engulfed Asia. Took both. So there's an 80% probability. 80%, lads. If you guys aren't checking out NQ stats, man. Man, oh man. We have an 80% that in our New York will break at least one side of London. At least. And I believe it's 64 that we break this and then run the other side and then come back in for FOMC. We had red folder news this morning. A nice little 26-point candle to start the day. Volatility still low, but in this, at least it's close to 16. Could be expecting some today. Woo! Today we kick it off. 1 year. 1 year anniversary. We actually started in June, I believe, but July was when things really started to get going. There goes London lows. Okay. Again, no real freedom model trade. We had left this and this. And we just unloaded. We don't know. We don't know. Yo, Matt the legend. How you doing, man? So, I mean, here we are, right? Nasty business. So far sideways. People, well, I don't know. FOMC kind of throws everything out, doesn't it? You get all this. Right, that low was put in yesterday. If we look at the daily, we started with our top down there. Whereabouts is our target on liquidity? It's going to be this low. That's your next day. Now this was actually an inside candle, so kind of all bets are a little bit off. But I think that's still your draw. People will still be looking at that. You got your 1800 open, which is here. We just tagged that. Violent movement. Violent movement. And we're immediately back in. Immediately back in to the opening range of the day. These aren't even, these are having a hell of a time loading, aren't they? Come on, Sessions. There we are. Good morning, Wafa. We'll wait for this to shake out. I do think that it's going to run above this high at the very minimum. Especially if this continues to go sideways. Now, I'm sure you hit that while I'm yapping away. You're already made in your bag. Good for you. There goes your high. Boom. And if this expands, which we expect it to, well, we don't expect it to actually. We had an 80% chance we were going to run the high or the low of London. Now, it was pretty clear when we spiked down that we're at least targeting this low. We then hit the 1800 and went on a rocket ship. We should target the London high, which is also the overnight high. Yeah, I mean, you can understand it, right? First 4 minutes of the day, do we have anything showing a little bit of manipulation? Maybe. Right? But if you're going to hit it in here, and you take it off for small. Now, the important thing is understanding if you're only in it to take a scalp. That's fine, right? And you're going back to basics and you're just taking your base hits and you'll wait for the next trade and all that sort of stuff. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. And more importantly, what do we usually do, especially those of us that are high achievers, is we look at the profitability and we don't go, hey man, I hit that. Right? That's a hell of a trade. That's a phenomenal execution. My analysis and my direction was on. There's a lot to like about that. There's a lot to appreciate. Right? And then we look at that. Now, if we're looking at this for a scalp, fine. But if we're looking for it going long here to take it back in, that's your scalp. If you're looking long here and you're analyzing that this could be a low, now it demands that we look at it from an analysis perspective and we go, if I'm long here and I'm right, what happens then? Do we trade back into here? Or do we have something above us that should be taken? And I'm not talking about these highs. I'm talking about the 9 a.m. hourly and then potentially London highs as well. And it certainly looks like it wants to do that. It certainly looks like it wants to do that, right? So nothing wrong with taking 10 or 20 here. Looks like Matt took the 490 high. I think he took this one. I think that the 9 a.m. high is weak. And I think that demands a lot of study. We might do a study in our group with that. We've been trying to level up the freedom model a little bit. There's a lot, obviously, that's going on. Stepping back down now. We'll see. Right? It's not required that we take London high, but there's a high probability of it. Not an extremely high. An extremely high probability is we were going to take one at the other. That's extremely high probability. Yeah, 100%. 100% agree with you. Good. That's exactly what I'm doing. You guys saw me take 10 points yesterday, right? 10 points, and then 10 points, and then 10 points. This just traded back into our CSD spot where we're respecting it. We could be looking at this 510 high. Right? So what you do is you note when it moves, and you note what you expect or theorize the reasons to be. So for example, if you were in, say, at 65, and if you're into journaling and all that stuff, you go, okay, I took it at 85. Whereabouts did it go and why? How do I improve that? Right? Because we can't just say, I should have held this for 30 points or 50 points, or if it ends up going here and being 60 points. right? Anecdotally, because that doesn't help us at all, right? Then we're looking at taking trades based off of the outcome of the trade rather than the setup and everything else that came in. And this looks like it wants to expand. We got 15 seconds left on this. I probably should have been in this long as well. Really strong push. Maybe we get a respect to this fractal, which would be ideal. But equally likely that we just run. That high was 425. That actually closed at 425 too. So we'll see. I think if this goes violently into it, then I'm not interested. If this kind of respects them, fine. If we get like a weak candle in here, then fine. A lot more cautious with FOMC. This is your 5. That's nasty. Your 15's looking quite strong. Beautiful. Right, so that high is 95.75. Looks like we tried, at least so far. We'll see. Ooh. A lot stronger than expected. A lot stronger than expected. This shouldn't be a 10-point stop, but at the same time, it was very, very very low risk of an idea. This either held and we continued higher, or I was going to get wrecked. That'll be a little annoying if it takes 82, in which case I might consider hopping back in again. I'm not really wild about this 5. We'll see. And it's immediately back up. Good old FOMC. We'll see if it takes that or not. Again, I do expect, especially if we continue to consolidate here, that we're going to run this. That's just, well, that's just nasty. I think that actually took me out for 10 points before and I will try again if it holds in here. Good morning, good morning. Oh, that's so dirty. Get back down into here. Probably 98s, but we'll try this. And again, I think that we're getting enough consolidation here that I like the idea of targeting London's high. Right, we're not exactly like violently selling off, which is fine. Like we could consolidate and leave this and then run it out later on. True. 20 seconds, see if we expand here or not. New 15-minute opening in about 4 seconds. Strong 15 minutes, strong 5. Expecting London highs, holding this. Very possible that trades back in. but going to hold to the objective and the theory. $15s, $17s, and just in case it decides to be funny, target filled. Today is the strategy session, yes. So I took 20 there again. Didn't want to mess around with FOMC. Very likely that this expands a little bit further. Did anybody grab any longs in there? In reality, if I took this, where should my stop be? It should be underneath like this low. Now I think that this did fail, so on my part, this was a little bit too aggressive. A little bit too aggressive. I don't really see any beautiful sort of idea of getting in here. I mean, you're talking about this low being swept, fine, but I mean, in reality, like this move didn't close above this, so this low should be lunch as well. It wasn't, right? Whether we leave it later or not, maybe ES took another low, who knows, right? And this is why I'm very, very aggressive on my profit taking with FOMC. I took 95, beautiful picks. That's awesome, bro. Right, and I think we could have expected a little bit more from this candle because of the failure that associated there, but I think that it literally stopped me out. Where did it execute me? Where did it execute me? Yeah, it executed me at 84.25. Right here. What a prick. What a prick. Whoa! Good morning. Hello, FOMC. Get your runner out of here. Get your runners out of here. Peace. Today is going to be an interesting one as we kick everything off. Right? Now, really quick before we jump into that, because we get all kinds of nonsense, don't we? We get stuff like, and this has been from, I mean, how long has this been? Where people look at us and they say, oh, you guys don't, you guys are trading in hindsight, or you're marking up stuff in hindsight, right? And it's a dangerous combination that we're pairing statistical analysis over the last 5, 10 years with our models now. Ooh, baby. So we talked here. Before the open, actually, we knew 80% chance we're going to run one or the other. This one got ran. We then CSD'd. We then flipped. And we held this area. So where's our target? Our target is the 64% chance of running this high. You'll notice that this London high is at 746. I'm pretty sure ICT would have been that one. That's why we use this London high. So your London sessions, per the NQ stats that we have been looking at and I've been talking about, you guys need to adjust those. This is 2 to 8. 8 is when I consider New York to start. Asia is not 20 to midnight or whatever. It's 20 to 2. 20 to 2. Okay. So this is how today is going to work, and this is how tomorrow's going to work. Breaking all-time high next month, probably. Probably. Here's a question for you guys. I've got like a million things going on today. I'm fired up. I am fired up. And not because I'm green, but because I'm fired up. So this is how today and tomorrow is going to work. Today we're going to make our bag this morning. And then over lunch, we're going to go from strategy A to Z. And by strategy A to Z, I mean over an hour or an hour and a half. I'm going to try and condense a weekend as if I was sitting down with you guys individually. Go over how we look at the market, and then essentially use a RPM type mindset, or application I should say, to then look at the blocks that are going to happen and give strategies and whatnot of avoiding them. Right? So that's today. Today's the strategy. Today's the strategy and trading psychology. And the reason for that is because we're giving away at least 20 accounts tomorrow among all kinds of other prizes. And Canwall's coming on at noon, the ETF CEO. We're going to ask him a bunch of questions. We're going to have some fun. These are not going to be your normal marble races giveaways. There's going to be a whole bunch of surprises going on there. Some of you guys have saw Les's Twitter post where you guys are getting additional entries to specific marble race ones. There's going to be stuff for people that are in our school community. There's going to be a whole bunch of different things. But tomorrow's a 20 account giveaway and everything else. Right? We're giving away like $5,000, lads. Crazy. Right? The psychology sessions alone, we're talking like Paul Tudor Jones type shit. Those of you guys that had an experience during our March event, it's gonna be something very similar to that. Except we're better now. Except we're better now. And that's gonna be on Friday. But tomorrow we're gonna pop it off. So thanks to you guys, by the way, that are interacting and commenting and whatnot in the school community. We appreciate the engagement. We're trying to grow as best as we can, and the reason is because our why essentially is to be able to give away more accounts to you guys. I think marble races are some of the most fun that we have during the week. They have been a constant since we started this group way back in the day. That's our why. And actually, I think ETF right now, they launched a 40% off on their add-ons as well, which essentially, if I do the math here, where's that calculator? Calculator, click that shit. But that's, 19 times. Yeah, so what is that, like 27 bucks all in for an evaluation of 50K? No? I think the barrier to entry is the crazy part. You can get a 50K for 27 bucks. That's wild to me. And they got a Beat the Beast going on too, actually, I think, which is fun. I'm gonna ask him. I'm asking Camel if they do their own stuff. Gonna be some fun questions too. We're stabbing up, by the way, those of you guys that are looking at this right now. As well, everybody should be looking at this right now, but like essentially this is the area that broke us below this consolidation. We're then trading up. We don't know if we're gonna continue lower or not. We can theorize that based off of how violent this was and the area that it rejected from. Right? But the real power comes in whereabouts we made decisions from. We made decisions from here. And then we determine if this is strong enough to push us down. Not really anything I like. I mean, if I'm shorting, then I'm looking at essentially this. Right? Now that barely missed the midpoint, and then you would theorize why. Those of you guys that look at market structure, there's your midpoint of this. If you're looking at the midpoint of the actual move, then essentially you've got something like that there. In which case we've actually disrespected the midpoint of it. Nothing that I really like in terms of long. Short, you could definitely argue that it's trending downwards. I think we've completed major objectives already. So I'm going to wait and see if this actually facilitates a movement to this low or not. Right, we've got about a 50-point range. But our lower time frames, their purpose is to give us low risk entries, and understand price action, I suppose too. Right, but essentially we're trying to determine what the 15-minute and higher time frames are going to do. You've got this, right, which means that taking trades inside of here. Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Right? People are fighting both ways. People are fighting both ways. In fact, you don't even, I guess with Beat the Beast, you don't even really need to, you don't even need to have the 1 day as well. Which is kind of sweet. You can start like a 150 or something and make $2,000 on it, which is like 10 points. And the market has passed. That's actually going to do it. No, not fast tracks. Not fast tracks. That'll be like $26 for a. They used to, I think, from what I saw in the Discord, which would be kind of wild, because you'd make like you'd like, okay, $26. Here's my fast track. Oh, by the way, I just passed it in 1 day instead of 5, and I don't have an activation fee. Thank you very much. Do they? What's your guys' strategy for your first 50 or 100K that you make from prop? I don't like how fast this is selling off. right? I mean, it's going nowhere. I love that we got sort of like our bullish move and we closed above this candle. But I think I wanted it to break this high, and it didn't. So I'm wondering if they're going to do some dirty and take the 70. That actually tapped into the midpoint of this as well, for those of you guys that were looking at that, right? $3 days for payout. Woo! Love the consistency. Love it. Buy more land in crypto. I love the more. I love the more. Bizram's looking at the all-time highs on Bitcoin. I saw that somebody sold 80,000 Bitcoin for $9 billion this month. That's a pretty damn good trade. Pretty damn good trade. I love how everybody's down to earth. Nobody's talking about Lambos or any nonsense. Mine is personally that I'm collecting live accounts. And then essentially treating those as personal accounts. And I think that's going to be the prop firm mode of operations next year. Smaller cap probably, yeah, absolutely it does. Assuming you pick the right ones and not shitcoins, which I'm assuming you do. Obviously, I'm not talking about you specifically. Obviously, right? I think people that XRP I think had a phenomenal run. I think Solana. I think Solana was a massive trade. Back in the day, I actually held Axie Infinity and was trading inside of that. We had a little scholarship. We had about 10 or 15. I think we had 12 actually people that were making money on that. 100K and all spent on car. Dumb way to spend money. Yeah, cars might hold value, but they're not investments. Unless you're like a marketer, then they can be income generating investments, I suppose. Really? Sounds like I need to buy Bizram a coffee or two. Be like, hey man, pick your brain. Morning, Solo. Yeah, please do, man. Please do. This is very lethargic, but we're still bearish, right? People are going long underneath. Maybe they're making 10 points in this. Maybe people are covering. We got London lows again. There's your 1800. Whereabouts is our midnight? Speaking of, midnight is... Yeah, it's all the way up there at 500-ish. 499 to be specific. All the way up there. So we might ping back and forth, midnight to 1800 to midnight. Who knows? We're now inside of 10 a.m., so a new hourly open. We've swept this 15-minute. No flip, mind you, but we'll see if this leads to anything. Let me get rid of this now. I think it also might help if we waited or looked for, and this might not come. It looks like we're starting to lift now for the move that I wanted. I kind of wanted to see some sort of a weak bear bar for me to risk off of, rather than just sort of YOLOing a second bullish inside candle and away we go. But now technically flipped. We might trade back down to 80. Right, we're looking at these 5 minutes, right? So the 5's failing. We're now seeing what goes on above this high, which is 85.75. The 50-minute again swept. Looking for that movement up. So if we get something that comes back down to here, then I would consider that long. Right? I'm not going to be interested if we just get a blast up to here and then it trades back in. Mona Wafa, you have your own office you trade from now. I moved. This week has been a bit mayhem. To answer your question, this room I've traded from for about a year now, since we moved into it. I just flipped the camera so we could actually see the window. I have sort of like a black wall that I thought was better for the events that we do. And that's usually what you guys see. This is just lifting. Son of a bitch. Right, so right idea, like the lethargic movement, whatever. But we've had like internet anywhere from 120 to 150 speeds, and I've been paying $150 a month for shit internet. And we always thought, and the conversations we had with our provider as well, was that there was interference from the ceiling in our place. So we kind of mitigated that from a couple of boosters. But as you guys know, they drop in and out, even at the best of times. Right, so it was kind of something we were kind of going, you know what, do we move? Do we sort this out? What exactly should happen? Whatever. But we finally got the right guy to come yesterday. Or not yesterday, 2 days ago. And they did a whole bunch of stuff inside of the walls and with our modem and everything else. We got it wired into the office. And now my internet's about 1,000 right now. I think I posted the upload in the Discord. Short story long, same office, much higher quality. You guys better not be having any issues with the stream. But you got to view the mountain behind us. The office is on the ground floor, so you probably see cars driving by occasionally. Not a lot. What's the temperature there? It was 36 Celsius yesterday. We're literally inside the desert. Yeah, so 97. 97. I've had to be, ooh, that's a violent push down. We're looking at this order block, if there's a reaction from it. I think people will have hoped, like they've been hoping for this low, so they probably continue to shorten here and they'll probably mitigate some of their positions. And it trades in. Right? I don't know if we're going to take this low or not, so I'm kind of waiting to see what this reaction is. This is violent. We've already traded back into this. This is sort of the danger with the flips. Those of you guys that are, I see some of you guys working really, really hard on leveling up in the school community for the CSD video. This is partly what's going to be gone over, right? So we're looking at objectives. We flipped, but where's that flip trading into? It's trading right into this. Why is that important? It's important because this is the decision that we made to go down in the first place and snap this, right? So we return back up to there. We expect a reaction. We're now gauging what that reaction looks like, and we'll see if we get our second leg down or not. Whereabouts are you, Matt? Do you guys have 100-degree weather whereabouts you guys are? Oh, okay. Yeah, I won't definitely won't be talking about heat to anybody in the Lone Star State. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. This origin move was unmitigated, so it's a little surprising we're knifing through, even considering FOMC. Right? You guys will be looking at this. There's no displacement, which isn't surprising given that we're inside an engulfing range. Right? And there's your 15. So that low being 67, that low being 67. Wild. Cold front is 90. Yeah. My hair went like as yellow as these candles when we had 45-degree weather. Celsius, that is. Whatever that is in Fahrenheit. $113 apparently. I swear to God, if I don't win one account tomorrow with like, we're gonna do like 25 or 30 marble races tomorrow. If I can't win one, I might have to hire somebody to do them. I think this is your big inversion here. Can't go long, can't go short personally, right? I think people will fade the edges for scalps, right? So it's traded back into there, had a violent reaction, cooled, it's traded back down. You got equal lows. I'd be shocked if they didn't get rammed, but it is FOMC. Guarantee that Wafa and Matt win tomorrow. We'll do Pixels Raceway for picks. Probably a couple Field of Loves. We'll get Camwell to choose a couple of them as well. This is trading into the midpoint of this movement, right? I think you can argue that it's stabbed up. You're basically looking at this, right? So respecting the midpoint there. Don't really want to be shorting in the middle of a range to push lower. Don't really want to be going higher with equal lows. The market's going to do one or the other. But in terms of looking at the probabilities of it, not too keen on one way or the other, to be honest. I'm sure there'll be something of a scalp, at least, to be taking, right? And again, in range-bound environments, I expect a little bit more liquidity than this, right? So violent up, violent back down, cool. But like, what do you go long here? Go long there? Go long or short here? Cool, it worked out, but you expect something like this, where people that went short here got wrecked, and then the move happened. People that go long here got wrecked, and then the move happened, right? And so what happens? People shorted the close of this at 85.75. It went up to 91, and then eventually gave them their 10 point, if they're taking a scalp. Oh yeah. Chop for sure, right? People will be looking, okay, here's a low, we've taken a low, immediately they're taking profits and or buying. Same with the high, same with the highs, same with the lows, right? Another low, up, right back to the middle of the range. Now they're deciding what? They're deciding who they want to wreck. Who's on the menu? Raise your hand if you have difficulty sitting on your hands in this nonsense. Yeah. And everybody goes through that. More so than others when, like, literally raise your hands if your first experience of at least a little bit of the answer of, okay, if I study this methodology, then I think I'll become profitable finally. I'm not talking about like, okay, I've read about an EMA crossover, or okay, there's an ICT 2022 model that other people are seeing work. Like, what actually resonates with you guys? For me, it wasn't ICT. It wasn't candlesticks with Al Brooks. I found it very, very interesting, but it didn't really click at all. For me, it was Photon and DTFX, where I started making some profitability, but I hit a quick ceiling. And then I realized what my edge was, and that's my direction. Where I kind of paired it all together. Which is a nightmare to teach, by the way. As many of you guys have found out over the last year. But every methodology has its benefits and drawbacks. One of the negative ones of trading with lower time frame market structure is you look for base hits, small wins, and you look to add them up over time. Look to add them up over time, right? Now, does that idea or that way of trading have its benefit? Absolutely it does. Especially on days like today, where that scalping, those say 5 or 10 point trades or whatever goes in, if you're inside of a range environment or a small pullback environment of a trend, right? When your trends are doing this, and there's not Like scalping by definition works well when you don't have expansionary environments. That's not true. Scalping can work well in strong expansionary environments as well. But it doesn't work when you have strong movements inside of a larger range. It's essentially betting against expansionary. Or at least there's a way of trading that way. That's how sort of I look at scalping. And then the problem, which every system has, is you got to learn to when to stay out of trouble. Right? So the market is doing this. We expect it to continue doing this. Right? People are selling, expecting this to continue. That any movement up, they're selling. Because they're expecting this to continue. And then they're buying here. And they're selling there. And they're buying here. And they're selling there. And they're buying here. And then they try and sell there, and then eventually they get wrecked. But that one loss and 5 wins, do they really care? No. Right? And then it becomes, okay, has the personality changed? Yes. So do we expect the same thing to happen when we've got different inputs? No, we don't. This was probably a pretty decent long, at least it looks like it in hindsight. Right? We had a change in personality. Those of you guys that are drawing like trend lines or looking at bull flags, like we broke out, we then retested, failed, we got equal lows, and now we've got this going on. This is personally when I look to stay out of trouble. It's that sort of patience where you have to know exactly what you're looking for. See you later, Waffle. Traders should watch how lions stalk their prey. Yeah, I mean, if you look at taking, I suppose it depends for scalping as well. And then you can just add different playbooks, right? If you're in an expansionary environment, right? So let's say hypothetically, let's see if we've got anything here, right? You're looking at expansion. You're getting this kind of a candle, right? That's essentially a strong candle to buy for that push. You're expecting weak response after the strong bearish movement, right? Every single move in this was met by, even this one was met by strong selling. And then what happened? Well, we consolidated here, we started to lift. Selling, strength, selling, strength. Right? And then you get this sort of candle, and that's your buy. That's your squeeze candle, and then the way it goes. So you can stalk and wait, and then that's the one you hit, and then you take 10, 20 points, whatever, and you're happy. Right? Or you can look for range bound and you're sort of a contrarian. Or the other way is that you're looking for essentially, okay, I'm stalking along, it's not ready yet. Now we flipped, we trade back in and fail. Okay, maybe I'm looking here and you've got like a 2 to 1. Who knows? Right? I think this is a little higher than I would have expected. But again, what are we doing? We're looking at the market changed its personality. Right? Changed its personality. Which leads to different price action. And that works for us, that works for the market, it works for other people, it works for pretty much everything. Right? You're going to get different results, you got to do different actions. So why wouldn't that work for the market? Which is based off of human psychology. Yeah, essentially we're saying we don't necessarily know here whether or not this midpoint's going to respect and continue lower for these equal lows, or if we're going to expand higher. But what do we do know? We do know that it's going to expand one way or the other, because we were ranging, something changed. We squeezed. This is either going to be finished business and then done, or this ended up failing. This very well could have failed here. We actually stabbed back down further into this area. Cool. We don't know which side's going to win. So what do? We wait for more information. What's our information? Well, as of this candle, what's going on here? What's the purpose of this 1017? It's a 3-point candle. 3 points. Compress. Why do you think the best hedge funds and firms hire physicists? Quantitative analysis and physicists. Mathematicians and physicists. Study of energy. What is the market if it's not energy being compressed and expanded in a mathematical way? I've been noticing it has been leaving equal lows and highs quite often lately. Yes. Especially around FOMC weeks with NFP and all of that. You leave liquidity. Why? So it can run it later. Right? Here's your hourly chart. We've gone nowhere since the 27th. You could argue we've gone nowhere since the 24th. Sideways expanded and now sideways up in here. The weekly looks extremely strong, doesn't it? Or at least it did. Right? We had 3 strong bullish weekly candles after consolidation and strong weekly candles. Right? But for us that aren't trading and holding for overnight action, what do we got? Still haven't taken that high. They might leave that for later, they might not, who knows? You'll notice I'm very, very calm. I'm not forcing anything. There's probably a lot that we could have taken. And that's kind of a thing this week as well. But I'm not really looking for those cute trades. I need to have a very clear idea of where the market's going. Now, I was kind of yapping away. I think that that was sort of a risky B-level long, but given the context, I think failing after it failed to take this, so it took that high, failed, and then you had this. That to me was at least stabbing up a little bit higher. Anybody pass a beast so far? I think that Matt gets the trade of the day. Matt and Zach snuck that gorgeous long. I'd be shocked if we didn't take this 91.25 low. I think if we continue to go sideways here, it might grind, but I think if we continue to go sideways, then we'll take the liquidity above this, which does not really bode well for FOMC, right? We then ran London high again, lots of sell pressure at 22, so they went and took that again. Underwood is. Underwood is a sniper, absolutely. Yeah. That's the name of the game. Woo! Do we get a squeeze? Or are they gonna do that? That would be so dirty if they did that. Oh, that would be dirty. Now their Goldser doesn't usually know pretty quick. Yep. Yep. Yeah. One of my favorite trades is when you have like a strong push and then like this candle, like say like this candle here like closes like this. And then the next one that ends up being bullish like just does like that, and you take it on the way through and it just ends up being like something like this. Those are the best. I'm not even in this and I'll be irritated yet. Somebody's getting wrecked. It's not going to be me, but I'm annoyed for them by proxy. There it goes. Right, now people will fade the edges, and I think that's fair because everybody just jumped in. I don't really like how we've got this sort of consolidation, but I think selling here is probably decent, but I'm not looking to take that scalp. I do think that we continue to range, and that would basically be the narrative. Otherwise, there's no reason or cause to even be considering a short there. Obviously, it's working out quite nicely so far. Valid zone as well. Valid zone acting as an SNDR. It's going to be interesting. I think you would still expect a range-bound type environment until FOMC for chop, but I wouldn't be surprised if this traded up even further. 1034 though, this could be your 1030 manipulation. This could be your 1030 manipulation, right? But inside of this 15-minute candle range, you got your 930 as well. Very possible. Very possible. I think if it holds this, we will go, but I wouldn't be surprised if we took 504 too. I honestly thought that that this would trade back down into this fractal, even if it did want to take that high. Part of me wants to wreck this long. I just don't like that 504 flop bottom here. And then I think if they trade down to it, which they probably will, that I wouldn't be interested in long anyways, so. Can't take it short. I think that if you are sitting short from that sweep, that you're probably good to go break even and let it play out. But structural zone, SNDR, potentially. Yeah. Right, so right inside this midpoint, I think it'll be a very important response to see if this can close above this candle here in 15 seconds. Right, that's 5/16. Ooh! Yeah, schmuck. I don't think I want it now. I had a feeling they were going to at least retest this high again. But was interested in buying on the way down, even though this is beautiful and you got this sort of initiative idea, right? That did take that high. Just not good enough for me to want to be risking off of just yet. That zone completed itself, good. Right, so if you're looking at it, you kind of got like that old school, like taking something in the 10s, 11s, and then this gave you 15 points. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Right at London highs again for how many times? 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth. I think if this breaks below this, then we take this low as well. If. And that might even do that too, like you get like this, and then like something like this, and then that like continues like that, and then maybe we fail, who knows. Right, I did like that 90 level. I think that the problem with that is that it actually breaks structure if we close below this low. Now you could argue we're inside of a range, so, but we'll see what happens at your 11 a.m. hourly, and then yeah, so we'll probably play until then. I'll grab a coffee and whatnot, and then we'll jump into everything. So watching and waiting. Right? I mean, I can't go long with this. I think that this is major sauce. I don't think it's what shorts want to see. I think this could very well lead to just a squeeze first. Right? And that would take above 29 even. You kind of got this sort of trend line. Right? But given that flag, I would not. You very well could grab the short after the failure, but honestly, I think that it squeezes first. Speeding up a little bit. $10 seconds on this candle. What's our 5 and our 15 looking like? Oh, that's gross. 15's looking like it wants to, yeah. Oh, I probably should have hit that in the 19s at least. Lift. Lift, you prick. Lift for the lads. Same sort of idea as this, isn't it? Now, I mean, this is at the high, so the context is a little bit different, but same sort of idea, right? Compression, signal, swept one way, traded through. Now it's retesting this area of interest, the trend line, similar to this, right? Now this is a little bit different PA, but in fairness, you could expect this to respect, and if it does, then I think we run the highs. The beat the beast. But so what ETF does is they say ooh, this is going to be dirty if they blast it. I think it's going to wreck really quick. So the beast is they do an event where if say I don't know, hypothetically you want 150,000 evaluation, so your parameters are you have to make 9 grand before you lose 5, right? And you have 5 days to pass it or whatever. And so beat the beast means that if you make whatever they suggest, so today's beat the beast that they do is you have to make 2 grand on that evaluation. If you make 2 grand today before 1 Eastern, they mark it as passed. You don't have to make the remaining 7. Ooh, what are they gonna do? I want to run the shorts out here just because it's consolidating. Right, like this is not. I would expect this for death. This is hold on to your ass type price action. Right, we kind of overshot one way. No, you know what? I mean, I'm gonna try it. Yes, it's at the highs. Not exactly an ideal location, but I love how it's respecting the downside of the trend line. I don't really want to trade on these 15s. I don't think it takes this low. I'm definitely not going to chase it, but I think we get an expansion. Probably doesn't trade back into it now. Damn it. Okay, well, we'll see. If you guys are involved, I would expect a squeeze. I think that it doesn't have any business returning back down to here now in this 16, 17 range. If it's going to run, it should run now. Otherwise, this could just be leaving it for later. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, Russ. I love unique ideas of stuff that goes on. Unique ideas. Problem with unique ideas is that often you're not recognized. They're not recognized for it. Because people copy it and put their own spin on it. Like our marble races, for example. I don't know if you guys watch Tradeify TV, if they're still running them or not. Hopefully they are. I think they're a blast for the community and everything. Morning, TW. You have not missed a lot. If this expands, it's probably just going to blip and be trading in the mid-30s. But only after they're done filling everything. You got a new 15-minute candle coming up. Right? So there's your 5. There's your 15. Open. Kind of drove lower. We're expecting. Give it to the lads. Give it to the lads. I probably could have left my order at 20. Actually, it still wouldn't have. It would have been filled now. That would have been hold on to your ass. Alright, but the initial idea was we stab down and leave. This kind of stabbed down and then went nowhere. So what an opportunity to practice patience. Right? Get rid of these. That idea, I mean, I like the flag a lot. I thought that it had a little bit more juice when it tapped back in. We'll see what she wants to do. We'll see what she wants to do at the turn of the hour. The turn of the hour. There's your hourly. Does that not look beautiful? Does that not look beautiful? What? There she goes. There's your blip. 1051, no less. Just one nasty little movement. So right thesis, good. Didn't grab anything, mind you. Sometimes it does. Do you remember all the wins you take? Or do you remember the losses? Or do you remember what, how far it ran afterwards? Right? Usually, we distort, delete, and generalize very specific parts of our trading based off of our expectations. I'm not going to go too much into NLP with that right now, but we all have strategies for everything. Patterns and strategies for everything. You guys have strategies for losing. I have strategies for losing. Right? You have a strategy for winning. You have a strategy for losing. Right? So when you're having a rough time, you're executing a losing strategy. It can be just that simple to correct it. You sit differently. You breathe differently. You walk differently. You know? Like, you ever see like a confident man out there? Think he's walking like this? All kind of shrunk in and everything else? Or is he walking with his like legs open just like this? Like taking up as much space as he can? Right? Is he talking obnoxious? Or is he talking kind of slow, like, hi guys, what's going on? You know? Yeah. Beautiful. 750, 5 MNQ. Beautiful stuff. Right? Funnily enough, the most interesting thing about, especially those of you guys in sales or marketing or anything, is that, like, you don't value what you can do because it's expected for you, isn't it? If we can make $500 a day, no problem. Then what happens? We expect to make $500 a day. Then do we appreciate it? Probably not. Right? And if our framing is that we're not looking at that $500 being amazing, or $1,000 being amazing, then we don't value it or we don't respect it. We're not grateful for it. And we're always chasing. That's what high achievers do. They look to the future of, okay, I'm making 500, now I gotta make 1,000. I'm making 1,000, now I gotta make 2,000. I'm making 2,000, now I gotta make 5,000. Right? And that's fine. That's what keeps us pushing forward, or so we tell ourselves. But the problem is that when you're always moving the goalposts, you never really stop and appreciate how far you've come. Wasn't that long ago I lost $20,000 per account in one day. If you can believe that. Very, very easy to frame that one way or the other. Very easy to frame that one way. Very, very difficult to frame it in two ways. The positive framing is, holy shit, I made enough money in these accounts that I was able to run up 20 grand plus per account. Per account. Right? That's phenomenal. Not many people can do that over a period of time. Consistently. Not just randomly. Consistently. Right? So you can focus on your ability to get there, how good you are, when you're trading your systems. Or you can focus on what you've lost. And that actually applies to pretty much everything. If you went long here, you took 10 points. Do you focus on what the movement could have been? In other words, you're chasing perfection because you're saying that I could have done something so much better? Or do you focus on, you know what, I waited for X, Y, Z, I hit my system, and I crushed that 10 points. Let's go. Right? And that's how you go, because the really interesting thing, this might actually be flipping here, at least back down to this, we'll see. Right? Now that we're kind of looking at turning the hour. It'd be interesting to see if we get this 15-minute movement. I don't know if we will based off how violent this is, but we'll see. Right, we're stepping back down to here. I don't think I'll take any longs out of it, even though you could probably have cause to do so. I'm expecting a mean reversion day with FOMC, just FYI. It used to be that if you did a shitty job, you got shitty rewards. Right? Which makes sense. We expect that. You get fired from your own business, the market, your job, whatever. Right? We were conditioned that if you did a good job, you got what kind of rewards, right? Good rewards. If I do well at trading, then I should make a lot of money. No. If you do a good job at work, the work cycles, what kind of rewards do you get? Shitty. You get fired. But I was good. Well, good isn't enough anymore. How many people have grandparents that stayed together for 50, 60 plus years? It's beautiful. Very rarely does that happen anymore, which is sad. But why? Because people only look to be good in their relationships. Good doesn't work. Times get hard at work, you let good people go. Right? So then what happens? You have to become excellent. You have to become part of that one person or two people that the company can't function without. You have to become the trader, essentially, that's in the top 2%. And what kind of rewards do you get when you're busting your ass, when you're studying 5 hours a day, when you're making it work? You get good rewards. You make some money. That's what you need to become. Notice how it's not excellent. You don't start making millions. You just do well enough to survive and to do okay. But ironically, that jump from going from like garbage or very, very poor when you start to good, huge jump. Good to excellent, like being the top 4%, that's another huge jump. How much of a jump is it from going from excellent to being the best? Very, very small. Very, very small. And this is where everything is. It's not fair, but I love it. But I love it. And that goes for pretty much everything that we hold up into society. Pretty much everything. Right? Nobody remembers the 5th fastest person in the world. They don't get much from the Olympics, do they? I watched a guy give that speech. Yeah. I think Tony talks about that a lot. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is knowledge from him, and then my own personal experience, which either gives it truth or not, in my opinion, to myself anyway. Look at this. Is this inducement and then we run it up? Or is that a failed... I mean, that's not a failed CSD because that already happened. So I'm kind of looking to see, do we trade back into this and then we can unwind? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a wild thing. It's also one of the reasons that with our NLP, we don't really go into major trauma. Not because it can't be dealt with. Look at this unwind now. But because you have to give very harsh advice to people with specific things. That's hard. Look at this. Right? So our midpoint of this move is there. You'll notice that I'm not taking it from this low. Morning, Donna, by the way. I don't think I said good morning to you yet. How low? Right there. Probably runs out this. I'm shocked we didn't take this 504. We were one tick away, and then we've got 501. We very well could test this. This is definitely an area of interest. 100%. Right? We just opened a new hourly, which is now trading back in. You got a 15-minute low, which has a flat bottom right there, which is your 504. That one right there. So I'm expecting, if we trade up, that we likely take that. If we have a sustained movement up, that we're likely bearish from a swing perspective. Definitely wouldn't be short in here, but I think we take that 504. So we'll see if it plays out, and I think I would want it to probably do the same thing here, 517s. Maybe we do this and then we run it. You very well could take this 501. Don't really want to be hitting this here. I think that's far too arrogant, even though it's probably going to work. There it goes. Now this is expansionary. We didn't trade back into the midpoint here before leaving. We didn't trade back into the midpoint before leaving. So I do think that it's probably a decent spot for an aggressive long. But hey Dennis, what's going on, man? Right, and I'd be looking at least for this 517 as well. Like if this trades back down to the open of this or a little bit lower, I'll probably hit it with the stop underneath that 15-minute low. Danger being that we're in an expansionary environment. Right, so this very well could just be retesting back up in and then dying, but I think we get at least inside of this SMDR, but I need this a little bit lower, and I want to see if this just falls through the floor or not. That might have been it. So 775, looking for this flat top at 17s. Right, getting our 15-minute sweeps, good. Hopefully we don't have to run this out at 501s, which is possible. We're going to find out on this candle here. If we trade through this 12, then I think we go break even because of the nature of this trade. We've already manipulated. Right? I don't really want to trade underneath 503. Struggling. We'll see if our 5 can close bullish, then good. If it can't, then we got 1 minute left for a potential danger. Like the 15-minute sweep, like the area where we've taken. I think that was a major profit target. I like that we've gone sideways and we've swept this low out. But we need to get a lift here. And equally as important, I think the 5 needs to close bullish. It's starting to look very, very sus. Back down to that low. Not really what I wanted to see so far, obviously. 10-point stop. If it comes back in, then I think we're good. And this is just a second 15-minute sweep, which happens on FOMC. Okay. Again, a little bit sus, and this would be a full stop underneath the 501 if this does tag me in. I don't like that the 5 closed bearish. Oh, this is going to take me out for both. And there we go. Okay. Oh, disgusting PA into that SMDR. I think I'm going to hit this again though with a small stop. I like the idea of the 15-minute sweep. I think that was expanded. And this is going to be a very small, oh God, here we go. Betting against expansionary price movement now that we've traded into that area of interest. But this could be just an immediate clap again. We'll find out very, very quick. And it took me out. Okay. Very surprising, and yet FOMC, there it is. Right, so we've got these equal lows here. We'll see if they get tagged or not. Nasty ×2. I think that probably just stopped us out to the tick of that area of interest. I thought that that 15-minute low and then this, I should have been a little bit more cautious of that 5-minute bearish candle. Expanding. We'll see what ends up going on here. Couple of losses right in a row. Again, like, this didn't trade to the midpoint, right? This did not trade to the midpoint. I thought we were going to get a little bit more out of that than what we did, which was frustrating. But same sort of thing. This to me was actually that's actually very nice. But we'll see. 5 seconds left on this. This looks like it's, you know, expanding down. Okay, 5-minute, and we've taken this 15-minute CSD area, which people are like, I love that wick. If this holds here, I'm going to hit this. That'll be my last idea. Yeah. And again, looking for just at least 10 points out of this. Just a small scalp. I like the wick. I like that we've taken liquidity. We went sideways. I think we lift at least above this 90-50 high. And if not, then obviously we just continue expanding downwards, which is what it is. So we'll see. I love the wick. I love the sweep. We'll see if we get follow through. FOMC, there it is. No bueno. Okay. 3 losses in a row. I'm going to call this stream here. Not exactly what I wanted to see at all. I do think we get a bit of a rally, at least to that area of interest, but I'm going to grab some coffee and get ready for the strategy session. And we'll see you guys in a little while. Yeah, equal lows below for sure. Bye.